the Indiana Fever destroyed the Atlanta Dream.
There is 36 seconds left. A blowout by the Fever.
Gutty performance from Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark had the ball in her hands. She became the creator of offense.
No buzzer beaters, no triple doubles, no viral step-back threes. But what Caitlin Clark did in this game against the Atlanta Dream might be the most quietly dominant performance of the WNBA season. While fans fixate on the stat sheet, Clark's brilliance came in how she dictated tempo, smothered stars, and made her team believe again, all without needing to score big. This wasn't just a win for Indiana, this was a system reset. And it proved one thing: if you let Caitlin Clark run the game her way, the scoreboard won't save you. It started like a nightmare. Jordan Canada lit up the Fever for 26 points in the first half. Griner and Jones bullied the paint. Indiana looked slow, flat, and lost. And Caitlin? Her shot wasn't falling. Her plus-minus was a mess. Most rookies would have shrunk. But Caitlin was just scanning, adjusting, waiting. Because the second half wasn't going to be about points. It was going to be about power and taking it back. Cold shooting? No problem. Clark didn't pout. She switched gears. She locked onto Jordan Canada, the game's hottest hand, and said, "Not anymore." It wasn't flashy, it was surgical. Every screen she fought through, every denial, every closed gap. Canada, once torching the floor, suddenly looked lost. Just 4 points in the second half. And that wasn't a coincidence. That was Clark treating defense like a mission and completing it. The third quarter didn't just start, it exploded. Caitlin was directing traffic, calling out mismatches, and snapping the pace into high gear. Atlanta, once confident, now looked hesitant. The shift was subtle, and then it hit like a wave. Stops turned into fast breaks. Miscommunication turned into easy points. And suddenly, Indiana outscored Atlanta by 23 in the second half. All because Caitlin Clark decided, "We're not losing today." Clark didn't record a single block on Jordan Canada. Didn't need to. She face-guarded relentlessly. She cut off driving angles. She forced floaters, rushed shots, awkward passes. This wasn't defense for ESPN clips. This was disruption by design. The WNBA's hottest guard disappeared because Clark refused to let her breathe, and the rest of Indiana fed off that energy like wildfire. Once the Fever started getting stops, Caitlin took the wheel. Literally. She demanded the outlet pass, sprinted like a quarterback on a 2-minute drill, and turned rebounds into chaos. Atlanta's defense crumbled under the pace. Their rotations were too slow. Their bigs too late. And Clark? She was already setting up the next pass before defenders turned around. This was transition basketball turned into a weapon. Caitlin scored just 12 points. But that number is a lie. She controlled the rhythm, manipulated defenders, and fed cutters like a veteran point guard. She didn't force a single thing, just moved, paused, attacked. And her teammates? They played looser, sharper, freer. Indiana didn't just follow her lead, they trusted it. And Atlanta had no answer. 9 assists on paper? Should have been 15. Clark found Boston on deep seals that led to free throws. She hit Sophie in the pocket for open threes. These weren't just passes, they were timed punches that cracked the Dream's defense wide open. The box score missed it. But the eye test? That told the real story. Clark wasn't just facilitating, she was dissecting. Sophie Cunningham looked like a star. 16 points, 10 boards, non-stop hustle. But behind every highlight was Clark's vision. She drew defenders, slipped passes into open lanes, and let Sophie shine. No selfishness, no hesitation, just execution. Caitlin wasn't just feeding a hot hand, she was building one. She made Sophie dangerous. That's real leadership. The pick and roll came alive. Caitlin baited defenders high, Boston rolled low, and the timing was poetry. Whether it was floaters, layups, or trips to the line, Boston looked dominant again because she wasn't forcing it. She was finishing what Caitlin created. And with every bucket, her confidence grew. This was the connection Indiana had been dreaming of, and Clark made it real. Griner didn't foul out. She didn't get injured. She just disappeared. Clark dragged her out of the paint with tempo. She forced switches, spread the floor, and made Griner a step too slow on every possession. No direct battles, just misdirection. Griner's size became a liability, and by the time Atlanta realized it, she'd been erased from the game without a single shot fired. Desperate to slow Clark down, Atlanta sent double teams, but she split them like butter. Skip pass, swing pass, bounce pass. She punished every trap with precision. It wasn't flashy, it was deadly. Clark didn't force shots, she forced mistakes. And everyone cost the Dream points, momentum, and eventually the game. This wasn't about isolation plays. Clark wasn't trying to break ankles, she was conducting a concert. She timed every pass to perfection, reading the floor like a chessboard. Spacing, impeccable. Timing, elite. She let plays breathe, then attacked with a surgeon's touch. Caitlin didn't dominate by scoring. She dominated by thinking. All season, the Fever struggled with rhythm. This game changed that. The ball popped. Cuts were sharper. Spacing opened up like never before. Why? Because Caitlin gave them structure. She gave them purpose. And when she didn't have the ball, her movement pulled defenders away, creating even more flow. This didn't feel like luck. It felt like a blueprint. Critics will point to 5 for 17 shooting. They'll talk about missed threes. But what they won't say, Caitlin dictated the second half like a general. Every big Fever run started with her. Every key stop fueled by her leadership. She didn't need fireworks. She brought the fire underneath the surface and burned Atlanta quietly. For weeks, fans begged, let her run the offense. This game proved why. With full control, the Fever played faster, smarter, freer. Clark was the chef, and everyone else got fed. Atlanta's talent? Irrelevant, because Clark made them play her game. And when that happens, no team in the league is safe. 12 points, 9 assists. Sounds decent, right? But watch the game. Every time she touched the ball, Indiana shifted into high gear. Every possession she controlled had purpose. The Dream looked reactive. The Fever looked ready. Clark wasn't chasing numbers. She was setting the rhythm of an entire game. Clark didn't need to dominate every play. Instead, she moved the chess pieces, shifted defenders, and created opportunities without even touching the ball. Her off-ball movement bent the Dream's defense out of shape. Every screen she ran off, every decoy cut, created space for someone else. She wasn't demanding attention. She was earning it by making the system revolve around her. Chaos for Atlanta, calm for Indiana. Leadership isn't just about talking. It's about being the one teammates respond to. And that's exactly what happened here. Players were diving for loose balls, rotating faster, closing out harder. Clark's energy was contagious. Even with a rough shooting night, her belief became their belief. She elevated everyone by making them believe they could win, and then showing them how. This wasn't just Indiana scoring more. This was evolution. The offense morphed into something smarter. Skip passes to beat traps, quick backdoor cuts, and transition decisions made on instinct. Clark kept the game moving like a metronome, and with every correct read, the Dream's defensive plan unraveled. You can't teach that. You can only hope your point guard has it, and Clark does. Usually, Griner's size controls games, but against Clark's tempo, it turned into a problem. She was chasing instead of anchoring, rotating instead of protecting. Clark never attacked her head-on, she just moved the game around her. By keeping the floor spaced and the pace relentless, Griner's size advantage faded. She wasn't taken out physically, she was erased mentally. Caitlin Clark plays quick, but what's deadly is how she thinks quicker. She was 2 steps ahead on every rotation, calling out traps before they came and adjusting mid-possession like a seasoned vet. You could see her scanning the court, not reacting, predicting. Every trap Atlanta threw at her, she already knew where the outlet was. That's the mark of a true floor general. Jordan Canada dropped 26 in the first half. She was the star. But after Clark clamped down, that fire fizzled. 4 points in the entire second half. That's not just defense, that's mental warfare. Caitlin shadowed her, read her, frustrated her. Canada didn't just go cold, she got unplugged. Clark turned the Dream's biggest threat into a ghost. This game wasn't just about stars, it was about depth. When Clark drove, she kicked to Dantas. When defenses collapsed, the ball found the open shooter. Everyone touched it, everyone contributed. This wasn't one player carrying a team, It was one player activating a team. The Fever became unselfish, unpredictable, and dangerous because Clark made it that way. Atlanta came in with size and depth, and that was supposed to be their advantage, but Clark flipped it. She sped the game up, stretched their bigs out, and punished every late rotation. Their physicality turned into fouls. Their post-ups turned into rushed decisions. The very thing they thought would bury Indiana became their downfall. Look at the Dream's body language. In the second half, shoulders slumped, hands dropped. Defenders stopped communicating. That's not just exhaustion, that's defeat. Clark didn't break them with threes. She broke them with tempo, precision, and relentless pressure. And by the fourth quarter, the scoreboard was just catching up to what had already happened mentally. Every time Caitlin scores under 20, people rush to question her. But this game proves what they keep missing. It's not about points, it's about presence. Her vision, her structure, her IQ, that's what gave the Fever 99 points. She's not chasing a scoring title, she's chasing wins. And when you look at what this team just did, it's obvious. She's delivering them. Most players react. Clark anticipates. She looks off defenders with her eyes, swings the ball across the court, and manipulates coverage like a quarterback. When defenders chased one direction, she was already passing to where they should have been. That type of foresight separates good guards from legendary ones. And Atlanta simply couldn't keep up with the mental game she was playing. And here's the scariest part. Caitlin Clark still isn't 100%. She's battling through quad and groin issues, playing without full explosiveness. But you'd never know it by how she controls the floor. She doesn't need to be the fastest when she's the smartest. And when her legs finally catch up to her brain, the rest of the league might not stand a chance. No trash talk, no viral moments, no theatrics. Just controlled dominance from a rookie who looks like she's been in the league for a decade. Every pass, every screen, every cut, it all served a purpose. And by the time the Dream realized they were in trouble, it was too late. Caitlin Clark didn't just beat them, she outclassed them. Forget the idea that Indiana has to build around her. She is the blueprint. When she runs the offense, the Fever becomes surgical. When she leads the defense, they get gritty. And when she plays her style, fast, smart, unselfish, the other team gets exposed. Atlanta had the firepower, but Clark had the control. And that's what wins games. This game was more than a win. It was a shift. A warning to every WNBA team. If you let Caitlin Clark run the show, you're not just playing the Fever. You're playing her system. A system built on IQ, effort, rhythm, and complete control. If you believe Caitlin Clark is changing the game before our eyes, smash that like button. Drop a 100 in the comments if you saw this domination coming. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next time she steps on the floor, something even bigger could be coming.